Hey, what's up guys? It is I, Mark Yoon, and today I bring another hopefully exciting video. So what I got for you today is a little bit of a discussion of my opinion on a couple of things. Number one being the desire, or is it necessary for Soul Calibur to even get a Season 3 DLC at this point? Of course, you guys are joining the conversation as well. Just chime in whenever you want. Super chats are always there if you want to get your stuff up there in the open right away. Hey, ML5, what's up? Just doing the intro, making sure my mic is okay. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if it's okay. So what we're going to be, I'm lagging. It doesn't say I'm lagging here. It might just be your internet or the YouTube streaming right now. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start. And if we are lagging too much, then we can try and fix it as it comes. But the question that I postulated to you guys on the Discord and earlier videos was, is Season 3 even necessary at this point? Now, this is going to be just based on my opinion, and I do want you guys to kind of clap back in the comment section or right over here in the chat. Super chats are enabled, by the way. There's going to be a long story short to this kind of thing, but I want to go into like the different specific details of this stream before we actually get into the gameplay stream later on. But off hat, I want to say that yes, Season 3 is needed. Yes, I can see that. But the desire that I'm coming to right now, and the kind of realization that I'm coming to from seeing everybody's opinions based on this and the way it is going, is that I'm not even necessarily 100% committed to the fact that I want it at this point. Now, of course, there's reasons why I've said this in videos before. If you guys are new to this channel, like, you know that I have a lot of reasoning behind what I'm talking about here. It's not just like things thrown out there. Hey, Daniel. Hey, Death is all. What's up? Mainly, I'm saying that, like, I think at this point in time, the eyes on the prize should basically be for the rejuvenation of Soul Calibur 6. So, like, Soul Calibur was successful with Soul Calibur 6, right? But now it's getting to a point where the game is a couple years old. Maybe a lot of us are looking for new content. They've given us a lot of good cliffhangers in the story-wise to commit to thought processes of, you know, where's this going? Who's going to be involved? Ishka Ak, their swords and shields. All of these things are really amping us up, narratively speaking, for what's going to happen in the next game, obviously. And looking at the data leaks that we had, we obviously know the characters that were probably going to be in Season 3 at this point anyway. First, obviously, Aeon, Calcos, or Lizardman. Second being Rock. Third being a guest character. And fourth being Yoon-Song, or some postulate Algo. I still think it's Yoon-Song. But, hey, MKSM, what's up, buddy? But I'm not 100% committed to the fact that these characters are enough to drive the desire into Soul Calibur 7. Now, I know a lot of these characters are some people's favorite characters, and I'm not discounting that whatsoever. Like, if you like a character and you have reasons for it, obviously, and you've gone back to the litany of games since, like, Soul Blade and Soul Edge, that there's legacy characters that you die hard feel accustomed to, then obviously, far be it for me to say that, like, that character is not warranted to deserve. That's not why I'm here. What I think, though, is that, like, we've always had, like, big umps when it comes to these packages. Like, we've had characters that have changed the landscape and meta of the game. We've had characters that have been long since wanted back since they were omitted from Soul Calibur 5. Things that really want people to go into that because they want to make money on it, right? Thanks, MKSM. So I am just saying that, like, personally speaking, and I'll get into all the reasons why, I'm not 100% committed to a desire for Season 3 at this point. And I will explain myself. There are a large part of me and a percentage of me that really want Season 3, especially for characters like Aeon. The Lizardman race is, they're vanilla. They're super stripped down of any kind of... Every other race in the game has got, like, a lot going on, right? But when it comes to the Lizard race, the customization options that they have available to them, they're pretty bare bones, and it's pretty much there as, like, a tacked on kind of thing. And I feel like if Aeon did come back, it would lend towards making that race a much greater race in the grand scheme of, like, this game and creation and how that works. But whether it's 100% necessary at this point, honestly, I don't know. Like, I mean, like, obviously, like, I'm a little biased when I say that, like, Hwang Sung-Young was the one I wanted back the most, and I got him back, right? So it would be unfair of me to say, well, I got my character back, so, like, kind of screw everybody else. I think everybody should get the character that they want to get, right? But the thing is it necessary? Do you think it's going to drive more people to this game than are already out here? Do you think the odd layman that's out there right now getting ready for Guilty Gear Strive or is psyched about Gogeta and Fighters, you think they're going to drop a Season 3 and they're going to hear that Lizard Man's going to be back in the game and that they're going to drive in flocks to come back here? Or is it going to be us that already bought the game that care about that? I tend to think it's more of the latter. It's the people that already are invested in the game and in those characters and in that series that wants these certain specific characters back. There's nothing really that screams about Aeon by himself, if he's even Aeon at this point. Like, I mean, he still may be like the generic version of Lizard Man before he becomes the fully announced Aeon that we see in Soul Calibur 5. This is a retelling of Soul Calibur 1, mind you, so we might not even see what that looks like. And part of the excitement would be, what does that look like? Are we going to see his human transformation? Are we going to see the things that leads to him actually becoming a character? And I'm not, Sean, to answer your question, it's not a 50-50% yes or no for me. I'm more of a 70-30 at this point. Death is right. It does depend on the DLC character that's being introduced. And I don't think that the Season 3 lineup is as strong as a lineup as the past 2 seasons. And that may be blasphemous to some of you who like really main these characters a lot. I know Patriots 1112 will be in here probably at some point, and I know that his only other character that he plays besides Voldo is Aeon, and that would probably really hurt him a lot if he didn't get that in the thing. And I am also very interested to see what happens with Aeon himself, like what kind of weapon style he's going to bring. Hey, Solar Flare, what's up? What kind of energy he's going to bring, how the meta change is going to affect the rest of the characters in the cast. Like, is he going to be OP? All of these things are like greatly considered. You guys have seen me do personalized videos, a ton of videos on just Aeon in general, on Rock, like trying to cover the leading up and all these things. So I would be as excited about these characters than any other thing. And I'll get to some of your comments in this section when I'm done with this thought. If you want to super chat, it's easier for me to see them, guys, because it stays at the top. But what I'm saying is that, like, if they release Aeon, right, and let's say he's the first character in the Season 3, and they release Aeon, and the Aeon fans are super excited, right? People buy the game just for Aeon. But they only have this short amount of time to work on him, maybe a few months. We know because of what's going on right now that there's like a lot of like lag with studio productivity as of right now. Let's say he's not the greatest character. He's not completely revamped like a Setsuko or Huang. Let's say he's pretty bare bones and generic. And then the money that they poured into that and the people that come over get super disillusioned and dissatisfied with Soul Calibur 6 as a whole based on that one character. Now, what are the alternatives? Hey, what's up, Myron? The alternatives are pour more development money into Soul Calibur 7 and have these characters on the base roster for Soul Calibur 7, but have them revamped in such an awesome way, like some of these new characters in Season 2 were, that they almost are completely different characters from their previous play styles. Like something akin to like a Huang, like where he's just like completely new and different and really revitalizes people's excitement in the character, starts a whole new meta with the game. If we get these characters in the base of Soul Calibur 7, then that's going to build up even more hype for Soul Calibur 7. Similar reasons to what I was talking about why I don't think it's going to be Algol in Season 3 as opposed to Yoon Song, based on not just, you know, the reasons I mentioned in previous videos, but based on the fact that, like, you don't end it, like, with that big of a drop that people, like, are still going to be playing this game for, like, a few years. Because as it stands right now, there's going to be a bunch of new fighting games that are coming out in the coming months for the next generation consoles. And whether all of us don't have the next generation consoles or not is neither here nor there. Some of us don't have a PS5. Some of us don't have a Series X. That's completely understandable why we want to keep to our old game until we have money for that or save up for that or until we are able to join that group of people that have those consoles. The thing being said, though, is like it may get left behind at that point. When we get Street Fighter 6 that comes out for next gen, when we get the new Virtual Fighter that's coming out for next gen, at some point the new Mortal Kombat's going to come out. At some point, you know, Guilty Gear Strive is coming out. There may be, you know, whatever, a Xenoverse 3 or whatever kind of Fighters 2 kind of thing that they throw into the mix. We're going to have like a lot more emphasis on current generation than we've seen in the past because this is the very beginning of the generation. Now, ask yourself, instead of Soul Calibur 4 coming out, would you have been fine just still sticking to your PS2 and playing Soul Calibur 3 until Soul Calibur 5 came out? That's a lot of years of playing the same game over and over again. And that's not to say anything about Soul Calibur 3 because you guys know I still play my Soul Calibur 3. I still play PS2 quite a bit, actually. but I'm just meaning towards everything has like a kind of scale when it goes towards popularity or hype or public opinion even. And the esports crowd, yeah, they'll revitalize some things like maybe a Marvel vs. Capcom 2, or maybe even an older game if the hype is built up for the new upcoming title. But before I finish these thoughts, I'm going to go over and I'm going to read a couple of these comments, and then we're going to get back to that thought because maybe there's some questions I need answering in here. So ZGA says, I think we need at least Lizardman and Rock because they had connections, unless they change their story. But also, I think that it would be nice to have Yoon Song. He may not be needed, but I hope he returns. That's basically what I was saying. But I think that like you can actually build on those connections more so in the lead up to the next game as opposed to in season 3. Because right now we kind of have it on a perfect cliffhanger, right? That to be continued. We have like the inner workings of the strings going on behind the scenes. And let's not get it twisted. Lizardman and Rock aren't probably going to be part of that main thing that goes on with the sword and the shield. They're probably going to be off on their own adventures doing something that's like loosely tied to the main story, but not majorly a part of it, like they've done in almost every single game. So I don't know if those characters would actually fill in that to be continued narrative as much as like say Huang did, as much as I like both of those characters. Death says, I also think it would appease the fan base, and it's important to keep fans as well. I see what you did there. Myron says, hey Mark, hey, what's up? Let's go down and check out a couple. Solarfighter95 says, for me, I want a season 3, but I won't be all bent out of shape if we don't get one regardless. I just want the series to be successful. I think everyone here agrees with that sentiment. Crazy says, they at least can do a short season 3 with 2 characters and 2 arenas, just like season 4 of Tekken 7. That's a possibility. I'm not sure if they're going to go that route because it still costs a lot of money to make stages and characters, and whether we want them to keep pouring money into this or into Soul Calibur 7. Plus, they're probably already in development right now for a Soul Calibur 6 version on next gen. That's always a possibility, so they could be pouring money into that. Now, something I mentioned in an earlier video that I wanted to touch on is like the money that's going into season 3 can be well placed in the game already with other things. There are far more complaints about people having crappy netcodes, and like as you guys playing with me in the members streams, we play those gameplay streams. We get kicked out of the matches a lot. Like some things happen like a lot in that game where we're watching a slideshow basically, and it's not fun. The netcode is a major issue that needs to be fixed right now within Soul Calibur, and a lot of that money can be going towards that. And I'm not just saying just the netcode. There's also things with the clipping issues with Create a Character. They can work on making everything omniversal, meaning that everything in Create a Soul can be used for every race and every gender. That's also a money issue that they can spend some development time into. They can work on particle effects. They can work on like overall balancing. There's a lot of things that they can put this money in towards that would make casual fans or people that are really interested in just the fighting aspect and not the lore aspect happy. The esports people, let's just say. And whether we like things going towards esport or not, I tend to like single player better. But the people that esports does support the game a lot. They do put them in the tournaments. Soul Calibur 6 is front and center in a lot of these tournaments and matches, and it gets a lot of attention towards it, which brings new people, which brings new revenue, which brings more budget for the next game. So I can't really hate on any of that. Hayate Ein says, hey, Mark Yoon, what's up? I think they need to continue the support for the game because if not, it would mean that they care less of their license, where even Samurai Showdown gets a new season. Samurai Showdown is SNK, I believe. That's not even in the same franchise. It's not even the same universe. So I think that's comparing apples to oranges there. But he also goes on to say, the only way I can see a fan not seeing this as bad news is if they announce working on Soul Calibur 7. The thing is that if not for the data miners, guys, we wouldn't even know that there was a season 3 that was supposed to be postulated in the first place. Like, I know I touched on this as soon as season 1 was done, and we knew about all the characters that were in season 2 and season 3 because I data mined the game myself. But without the data mining, like, we would all just be not knowing what's going to happen with the game anyway. We'd be up to like the Twitter or like Instagram posts of Masuyama and Okubo and like those at Bandai Namco, even like Harada and things of that nature. So I think us getting our hype up for this season that might not come, because I know I mentioned I threw it on our own canceled, but it's never even been revealed yet. So it's kind of like it's not even a thing until it's officially announced, right? Because we can have like code in the data games all we want, but it might not actually mean that it makes its way into the final product. Teddy Frazier says, yeah, true, Soul Calibur 3 was the best. I agree, it's my favorite. I just feel like the games as a whole would be more popular if we actually had to unlock gear instead of it just being handed on a plate. I completely agree with that. I think unlocking needs to be a thing that comes back, definitely. That's more towards the esports end of it. They want everything unlocked automatically so your characters can be just jump in there. But I really think you should be able to unlock stuff. My favorite part of playing Libra of Souls is leveling your weapons up like you kind of did in Chronicles of the Sword and Soul Calibur 3 and attaining new weapons and new gear with different status effects and things of that nature. I would like to see them go more into that kind of thing in the next single-player mode of Soul Calibur than sticking with something that was like pretty much like Towers in Soul Calibur 4, as much as I love Towers. Or why not both? Myron says, for me, I don't think we need a Season 3, but I wouldn't mind a Season 3. Of course, I think most of us are in that boat. MKSN says, me and Solar Flare almost always get like 1 bar connection and rarely 4 bars. That's what I'm saying. In our members playthrough, we do member playthrough channels in this all the time. Like even when I don't stream them, we play a lot together. And the matches are sometimes so horrid that we're sitting there laughing, cracking up that it's just a slideshow, like a literal slideshow. And it's not always based on internet connectivity. Like personally, right now from peer to peer, if I'm playing with one of you guys that are like just in the middle of the country and I'm in New York, my internet is like gigabit internet. I have like 1 gigabit upload and download speeds. It's a fast internet, and I still get those same problems when I'm playing with people in this game. And I don't necessarily have this problem when I'm playing like Tekken or Street Fighter or any of those titles. And I don't know if rollback is going to work well for this game like it did the others because it's different game to game. But I think they need to work on something. Hayate says, if you see them communicating, that means they're developing Soul Calibur things. It might not be a Season 3, but they are working, and I think that's good to hear. The problem is right now they're just Solar Flare, I'll get to your comment too. I think right now they're just communicating the characters' birthdays and the basic things that they're doing on Twitter and retweeting like things from the esports stuff. They haven't posted anything about like what's going on with the game since like a month at least. Like it's been pretty dead on that end with communication wise and transparency. Solarfire says, that being said, and not having things locked behind a paywall. Of course, I don't want anything locked behind a paywall. I don't want any microtransactions in my Soul Calibur. Get that out of here. Atherin Dragonio says, I am now here to do I need to send a link to Discord? Yes, Atherin, can you please send the link to Discord and make sure all the moderators are in this chat as well? I would appreciate it. If any of you are on Reddit too, ask Maki if she's online, if she can post it to Reddit as well. And Rocky says, like I said, Matt, you can do Twitter if you want to post on Twitter. Like I said, the guest characters for Season 3 of Soul Calibur 6, I was thinking anywhere from Dante from Devil May Cry 5, from Devil May Cry, Guts from Berserk. I would totally love Guts and Dante as well. And Rocky, I'm sure you've seen all my videos that I've made on the guest characters. I didn't want to talk too much on that in this stream because we only have about 40 minutes left. I just wanted to talk about like our desire for Season 3, or whether we actually honestly, if we're looking at this from like without our opinions, if we're looking at this from like an actual standpoint of legitimacy, like is there a need for a Season 3 at this point? There are pros and cons on both sides. There are arguments on both sides, so I don't think it's this easy, cut and dry, black and white answer. Melis says that they did improve the netcode with Tekken. Yeah, they did improve the netcode with Tekken, but that costs money and takes resources. And I just think that Soul Calibur could benefit from pumping stuff into that instead of that. Because if you talk to anybody that's not a Soul Calibur fanboy like us, if you talk to somebody who's like a Tekken main, the first thing that they're going to mention is the crappy netcode. They're going to be like, okay, that's fine. You guys can have your creation engine. You guys can have your story. But, you know, at least we can play the game online. And, like, at least the game works. And most people now do play their games online. So it is an important aspect of the game for them to get straight, especially with all these online tournaments going on. It looks really bad when they're, like, trying to host a tournament, an esports match, and, like, Soul Calibur's crapping out. But, like, all the other ones run fine. It just looks really bad. Hayatian says, it would be great for the next Calibur if they worked more on modes that are dedicated to casual Soul Calibur players. I think it seems like Libra Assault's weapon modifier, slippery mode, conquest mode, everything on multiplayer. I'm not sure if they will. That'd be nice. I think that'll be something they can't work into online. It would have to be an offline only thing. So it depends on what the priorities lie. Alice says, what if Viola and Sve were in normal 2-pack together? They're not going to be in the game until Soul Calibur 7 anyway, 100%. Zwei is mentioned in the Libra and in the library of Soul Calibur, which you can check my vocal library on Thursdays, provided by SolarFlow95. You can see some of that. He's only 12 years old in the timeline right now, so he's not going to be in until 7, even though he's mentioned. And Viola is not going to pop up just when Amy is just being introduced to this game. She's going to be saved for 7 as well, especially since they're both supposed to be part of the Swords and Shepherds that we were talking about before that are going to be a huge role in Soul Calibur 7 that are basically like the Akatsuki of the next game. You're going to see them together there. Wonder Guy says, was good, just popping in and saying, hey, what's up, Wonder Guy? Thanks for dropping in. Sean Sherrod says, I wish you could play ranked matches online to level up your characters and fix the game and characters. Yeah, there's a lot that needs to get done in there. Solar for 95 says, I could get that online is important and all, but you think there's a bit of an over-focus on fighting games nowadays? 100%. I've done videos on this. Ragaroth and I have teamed up and done combo videos about this together in the past. There is an overall emphasis on it that is like too much taken away from the single player, but the popularity of esports in general and the eyes that get shown on games that are like shown in those esports it really makes the developers want to push towards that. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that that's what they're doing. And I think that like it's going to give them more money and it's going to give them more funding for their games, which gets investors to put money in, which lets it gives the advantage to developers when they're getting a bigger budget for their next games. Let's see. Jared said, I don't think we need a season 3. It does suck that we'd be losing out on stuff that was intended to be there. Even if you think you didn't need more characters, the creation stuff would have been nice. 100% agree. And like I said before, it's not that it was intended to be there because the only reason we know about it is because of the data leaks and the data mines. If the leaks were never put out there, if we could never get into the game's files as intended, then we would never even knew that a season 3 was probable yet possible. So I think that like that's something that we need to work on as a community ourselves, is lowering our expectations overall, not thinking that we deserve all this stuff because we paid for the game. Because we did get the game we paid for, and most of us paid for DLC. And a lot of people don't even pay for the DLC. I think the game right now is in a good state. They just need to work on overall functionality, netcode, balancing, and things of like little things like that they can do with patches before 7 comes out. Just make the game overall more playable with quality of life patches. Animated scenes in the game. Yeah, Wonder Guy, I agree. I would like more cinematics, especially animated. I already said that like in the next story mode, I would like to see the cutscenes be animated. Bandai Namco is going to need a new engine. They're going to definitely go with Unreal Engine 5. That's for sure. The next Soul Calibur is not going to be on current gen. I'm telling you right now. And we may not see it till 2023, 2024. And it is definitely going to be using Unreal Engine 5. And it is going to be exclusively on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. We're not going to see any kind of downgraded port. And if you're looking for it on Switch, I would get that mind out of your thing right now because I can't even get 6 on the Switch. Hayati saying argument for Soul Calibur 3, still missing creation parts, still missing at least Yoon-Song and Rock as popular character, a good signal to keep the fans motivated. It is a good signal to keep the fans motivated. It's also, if they do a bad job and don't put enough time and effort into creating those characters and just put it out there because they think people expect a season 3, that's going to turn off a lot more people than it's going to turn on. You guys got to look at things from both sides. I want to see Yoon-Song, Rock, and Algo come back. I'm not sure. They're probably going to come back at some point. It's not saying that they're not going to come back forever if they're not in Season 3. Soul Calibur 6 was the application game for Soul Calibur to come back to being its own thing. It's the reason that the series is going to come back as a whole. So Soul Calibur 7 is going to be on like a whole new thing that we've seen before. I'm going to liken that probably to more content like in Soul Calibur 3 than anything. There might also be story points we might not be able to see if the developers wanted to make a Season 3 but aren't able to. I don't think so, Jared. I think that like I said, those characters that are in that season, if you look at the history of Soul Calibur and those characters, Yoon-Song always meets up with Hwang and Sungmina and then goes off and does his own thing. He might have some kind of interactions with Hwang and Sungmina throughout his story, but as far as the base story goes, he usually is just doing side quest kind of stuff. Same thing goes for Rock. Same thing goes for Aeon. Aeon has more of a pull in it sometimes, especially when he's like with the Fugal Sestima stuff and things of that nature, but we don't even know how he became the character he is now. So like that would all be side stuff. How come Soul Calibur 7 is going to be a remake of Soul Calibur 3 and Soul Calibur 4? It's not going to be a remake of any of those. You guys are misunderstanding that. Or I'm not saying everyone, but perhaps just you, Rocky. Let me explain it to you. This is a reboot of the timeline. So it's a completely new timeline separate from the old timeline. This game takes place, Soul Calibur 6 takes place during the events of Soul Calibur 1, which means it's rewriting Soul Calibur 1. So Soul Calibur 7 is not going to be a retelling of the events of Soul Calibur 2 and 3. This game is going beyond that already. They've already changed so many different things from the narrative from Soul Calibur 1, from the original Soul Blade and Soul Calibur 1, that we might not even get to see any of those same events. It's going to be a totally new thing going forward. More weapons would be good. Hamakun says, I want to see Season 3, but Algo should be kept for Soul Calibur 7. I've been saying that since forever. Glad I can help, Rocky. I'm just trying to make that a little bit clearer, because a lot of people think it's going to be a remake of Soul Calibur 3 and 4, and that's not what the case is. It's just the timeline is along the same time of where it happened in the other timeline. But for now, we're going to be changing story topics from everything that happened from 1 and on, because things change so drastically. Yeah, Weapon Master Mode needs to come back. Fox Live says, yeah, it's a new timeline. Think of it as compared to Dragon Ball Super and GT. And Solarfresh says, I would rather it be its own thing instead of just repeating the events of Soul Calibur 3. That's what's going to happen. We already see the strings being pushed in that direction, guys. We're not going to have to worry about any of that. All right, I told you guys on Discord to prepare me some questions. We're in the second half of the stream in about 4 minutes. So if any of you guys need any of those questions answered, please ask them in the chat right now. And I'll try to get those answered. Also, we're going to go back to this topic. As long as you guys want to talk about things about this topic, you can come on and drop questions about that as well. Also, remember that super chats will really help me see the messages because the chat goes by pretty fast. Eric says GT is not canon. Well, technically neither is Super. Whether they say it's canon or not, the only Dragon Ball that's canon is the original manga chapters up to the Majin Buu saga, which Akira Toriyama developed himself. Everything past that has been developed by Toei Animation, Shueisha, and other companies such as Bird Studios. So it has nothing to do. It's not the original canon anyway. You can't mention canon when it talks to Dragon Ball. There's too much canon in Dragon Ball to go over. There's like the canon of the movies, and there's like the canon of like of Super. Then there's canon of original Dragon Ball. There's too much to go into. You can't mention canon in Dragon Ball. I don't even want to hear it mentioned in Dragon Ball. Rocky says, would Tag Team Battle Survival Mode or something similar to Chronicles of the Sword get added in Season 3? No, hell no. There's going to be no new modes if Season 3 does happen. If Season 3 happens, it's going to be the 3 characters. We might get an extra stage, and then we're going to get some creative character stuff, which possibly is going to be rehashed stuff from 5 that still hasn't come here yet, and possibly like some more Tekken costumes. That's it. That's all we would see in a Season 3 potentially happening anyway. Eric says Super is canon. It takes place before the end of Z. I'm not talking about what they said it is. I'm talking about what canon means actually. And I wouldn't bring up Dragon Ball when you're talking to me because I've been watching it since like 1984. So before it ever came to America, I've been like delved super into to Dragon Ball. Soulblaze says, I hope, and hey, what's up, Soulblaze? I hope they add a tag mode in Soul Calibur 7. I really hope they do. Or at least like give us some kind of tower thing like in Soul Calibur 4 where they initiate some kind of tag in that that gameplay style. Then I'd be happy with that. Oh, by the way, Eric, Super sucks, so even if it was canon, it's not in my head canon. I don't consider it canon. But when we're talking about things like Desire, we got to look at things from a narrative standpoint as well, guys. Soul Calibur Bowling, yeah, that'll be awesome. I mean, bowling was my favorite part of Tekken Tag. Alice Angel says, you hope Natsu comes back. She was as much potential as her own character. I hate to say this, but none of the characters that were in 5, any of those replacement characters, none of them had any story or personality outside of like their own little story mode. And they're part of the reason why Soul Calibur 5 failed. So as much as I liked Natsu's play style, I wish they would bring back a kind of like a style from Soul Calibur 3 where you can just like kind of mix and match or get the soul of Taki if that were the case. But I mean, like, Natsu would be way too young even introduced into this realm anyway. If Natsu's even born in this timeline, like Natsu might not even be a part of this timeline. We talked about that before. We've already seen that Patroclus is probably not going to be here because the new baby that's being born is it starts with a D, his name. I don't know. It's not Patroclus, so Conquest mode would be cool. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. That's why I need the mods in the chat, because like I'll go off on a tangent if I see somebody asking a particular question. So especially about Dragon Ball. Come on. But by the way, we are doing a members only live stream after this, so it takes precedent with live with members. We're not going to stream it playing. We're just going to play together. There's a couple different ways that you can get into that, and if you want to play with us, anybody that's got a check mark next to their name, like one of those little members marks, you can ask them for details, and they'll let you know what you need to do if you want to play. That's all. 777 says, I think we need to Season 3 in order to continue into Soul Calibur 7. Season 2 released all the way to a Soul Calibur 7, which would be a long time that people might forget about Soul Calibur as a thing. Not necessarily, because that's kind of always the way that Soul Calibur's been. Like, Soul Calibur's always had a long time in between development cycles. I mean, I didn't forget about Soul Calibur 3 when I was waiting for Soul Calibur 4. Vice versa when it comes to Soul Calibur 5. And I played Soul Calibur 5 up until 6 came out, begrudgingly. I think the only thing people that might like forget about it is like esports stuff, but that money needs to go towards something else. I don't want to see a half-assed Soul Calibur 7. And I also don't want to see a Soul Calibur 7 that comes out in like 30-30. You know what I mean? Like they have priorities, and with the team that they have, they gotta like focus on accomplishing certain short-term tasks and goals that they actually have available to them now. Rocky says Patroclus, I still hate him. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. This stream is actually going on for 1 hour, so we are at 32 minutes and 6 seconds. Just to let you guys know, you can join the Yoon-Fam, and we do things like members only play games. We'll play stuff together. Not only Soul Calibur, we play other stuff. We've played like Naruto in the past and Dragon Ball. We can play anything you guys want to play. Tekken, we play a lot. Take my talkie. Oh my God, is that Mark Yoon? It indeed is. It indeed is. We also have super chats enabled, so if you guys would like to send a super chat, that'll be greatly appreciated, and I can read your message definitely. Plus, also members get other benefits, such as on the Discord, we have our own private chat. Detzel says I'm referring to casual fans. Yeah, but casual fans are going to come and go all the time anyway. Like that's why they don't really look at casual fans when they're developing a game, because like they'll pick something up and drop it just as easily. Jared says, I think this will be the first time I actually miss guest characters, as we were allowed to use their styles. I'm sure that's going to be a new thing going forward. We're going to be able to use their styles going forward. Yeah, 24 viewers and 13 likes. Yeah, we had 30 at one point. My opinion seemed to let people drop off at some point. Plus, we started answering questions instead of staying on topic. But Fox says Pyrrha might make a return, but that depends on the creators if she will come back as a character or just a side character. Also, it's a whole new development team from Soul Calibur. I mean, from 5. So, like, 6 is a whole new development team with all new leaders and all new cast and everything. I think they might just like look at that game as like a disease, and they want to stay away as far away from it as possible. MKSM is asking Matt to join the voice chat. I think you guys need to talk to After, and I think he's the one that's setting up the members play stream after this. Yeah, the Soul Calibur 3 movesets, that was part of what I was going into with Libra of Souls. Like, I really like how you had a base moveset, and then you level the moveset up itself by utilizing the moveset itself, and then you would gain new moves and new techniques in that moveset. And then when you maxed out the style, then you had the Soul of that was unlocked, where you can actually use the clone of the cast character. But a lot of the times I actually liked the original moveset better, especially when it came to Takis with those fireballs and stuff. All right. I hope for the character creation in Soul Calibur 7 that we can use costumes of the main characters like we can in Soul Calibur 6. I'm sure all the features that we have in Soul Calibur 6, we will enjoy them in Soul Calibur 7. I don't think we have to worry about that. The reason that we had changed so much from Soul Calibur 5 and on is it's a totally different team. Solar Flare says you should stream Libra at some point. Problem is like when Libra's so long and like I don't know, man. I would need beer for that. That's a long playthrough. Deathlo says I don't think that's true. I think how you turn a casual fan into a hardcore fan is by giving them good content that they want to come back for. And I don't disagree with that. I just think that like right now the priorities should be a little bit different. That's something they should have focused on in season 1 or maybe in the base game, not like in the season packs leading up this late in season 3. I hope Soul Calibur 7 gives new weapon styles. I'm sure we will. We'll get a couple new characters. You don't have to worry about that. I'm sure. I think Curtis is going to be playable. We're definitely going to have like SCVI and like Viola. There's going to be a few new characters. You don't have to worry about that. Legendary Gamer says hi. Everyone say hi. Jared says, sadly, I feel like we won't see it the way handle like Soul Calibur. I think that they won't handle it like that in particular in the main story. But if we get like another thing like Libra of Souls, they've already started slowly doing that with the weapon style and Libra of Souls. So I think we can see something like that in the next like secondary story mode in Soul Calibur 7. We probably can get something like that. Couple like 5. Yeah. Probably 5 sounds like a good number. I think 5 would be the new character list on there. Or characters that have been playable in the past to become playable, such as Curtis. Solar for 95 says, I'm hoping for at least Archibald or Mayhem are playable in Soul Calibur 7. Alice Angel says, exactly what gives people the idea that Viola and SCVI will return. If you play Libra of Souls, which is canon to the story, which you should play, there is plenty of indication in there that Viola is coming from Amy already. We see that in her Soul Chronicle and in Libra of Souls. SCVI is mentioned in the library, and he is talked about in Libra of Souls. They are definitely going to make a return. Those 2 characters at least. If you level up Taki, you chain sickles or something. Yeah, that'd be cool. Bro, I want little kid characters like squeakers. I think there's actually laws in Japan against like having child characters. I believe there's some weird laws about like having child characters in your video games. It's something like beating on things that resemble kids. Unless you're talking about like fighters like Kid Goku, who's literally like almost 50. I mean, yeah, lollies, but do you have any like indication of actual lollies in a fighting game? Because like even in Dead or Alive, that one girl, I forget her name. I don't really like her too much, but she's like 18 or 19 or 20 or something like that. Deathville says, I think they do that. I think that they made more fans with 6 than they had before. Those fans most likely wanted season 3. Wait, you talking about Kid Gohan? Yeah, but that's kind of different. Isn't Talon like a kid? No, Talon's an adult. I think Talon's like 17 or 18 years old. And I'm not talking about an anime. I'm talking about specifically in video games. How would you feel if Soul Calibur changed its art style and looked more like the art style from Soul Calibur 1's artwork? You mean like the anime aesthetic kind of thing? I think Soul Calibur 6 is pretty anime-esque. I think it's just it's a more realistic rendition of it. Talon's like 14 or 15. That's not a kid. That's a teenager. I could have sworn Talon was like 14. She might be. I mean, I got my music playing right now, but somebody look it up on Google right now. She's 15. Yeah, so she's a teenager. She's not a kid. I even believe Gohan in the... Not in the Saiyan saga when he was getting... in the Frieza saga, I think he was like 12. He just looked like he was super small. Now what about Dampierre? I hope he never comes back. I hate Dampierre. I know you like him. I know some other people like him. I'm just not into joke characters at all. I don't find him amusing. Some people do. Like if he comes back for you guys, I'll be happy. But like for me personally, do I want to see him come back? Not really. I never even hardly played as him when he was in 5. I played as him so little that I don't even know what he plays like. I don't know what people like about him. I don't know. I think he's corny. Dampier was fun for trolling. So is Voldo, though, but Voldo takes skill to use. Currently in Soul Calibur 6, she's 11, going on 15 to 16. Dampier replaces Algol as a main antagonist in Soul Calibur 7. He's not a main antagonist. He's a distraction from the main antagonist. The Demon Slayer says, would it be possible to see old costumes from 1 to 3 make a return, like costume packs from P1 and P2? I think they would do that. And do you remember in Soul Calibur 5, they had like the classic headgear? Like it had like Nightmare's Soul Calibur 1 head helmet and stuff like that. I think they could do something like that, bring that back too. If Season 3 does come out, I would hope that something like that would be possible. Do I play Soul PC? You mean Soul Calibur on computer, on PC? Let's see. Patroclus is actually kind of the main I guess character of 5. I don't play anything on my PC. I keep that mainly for work and art. I play mainly on PS5 or PS4 or whatever, same thing. But I have a 360 and a Switch also, but I'm mainly a console player. What if they released a Soul Calibur collection with all of the games? They can't do that. Wake up! There's too much licensing issues in there. There's far too much license problems. That's why they can't even bring back Soul Calibur 3. We saw what happened with the HD collection, and they like literally cut out modes, and like Link couldn't come back. And right now, there's problems with like the Spawn IP because it's being lent to NetherRealm for Mortal Kombat. So you'd have problems with characters like Necrid, and then like there's like the Xenosaga characters in 3. Voldo with his pelvis thrust. Yeah, that's what I mean, dude. You can ultimate troll with Voldo if you're good enough. I wish this was a beer. We got about 10-15 minutes, guys, and then we're going to head out to the play. So if any of you guys want to join in on that, you can either join the Yoon-Fam. There's like a join button next to subscribe, and that'll instantly get you in to play, or you can send me a super chat with your PlayStation ID, your PSN, so that we can add you into the game. And we're gonna play probably until about 6:30. We're gonna start around 5:30. Give myself some time to eat something, and then we'll play. Did they really cut out modes from Soul Calibur 2 HD? Everything seems to be there last time I checked. Yeah, there was stuff that they cut out from there, Matt. I forget exactly what it was. There was like a list. Because I have it on PS3. Danny, that depends on what you want to play. Like whenever we just set up a room and then we all decide together what we want to play. Sometimes we play a couple of games and we might go longer than we're supposed to. Like you can ask the guys that are in here that are already members. Like sometimes it gets pretty crazy. We play anything. We played stuff from Naruto Shinobi Striker to Tekken 7 to GTA. We've played like a ton of stuff. It mostly just depends on what we all want to play together. But we usually talk about it in the chat before we actually start playing, so. I don't know what the mood is going for today. Like I'm usually pretty I'm usually pretty easy with the flow. Like I'll go with whatever you guys want to play. as long as you guys are happy, I'm happy. That time, and we sometimes struggle when we play. That only comes down to if somebody doesn't have a game that we all want to play, but then we usually just like leave them out of those couple matches, and then we come back, they get to choose the next game. Demon Slayer says, if you had to choose a guest character from a Bandai Namco series that you would choose to be in Soul Calibur, like Tails, for example. See, like my top guest characters that I would want for a fact would be Nero from Devil May Cry. I would want Kiryu from the Yakuza series. And these aren't Bandai Namco, I know, but I'm just telling you my top ones. Ryu Hayabusa. And then from Bandai, man, that is hard. Maybe Hakumen from Blaze Blue. I like Hakumen a lot. He's cool. I don't know if that. I think that's Bandai Namco. Does anybody have any questions for us? People are leaving the chat because we're not talking about anything. That was a good question, by the way, Demon Slayer. I appreciate it. Guys, don't forget to like the stream if you haven't liked the stream already, too. Did Death Soul run away? Is Death Soul still in the chat? I wish I had a way to see who's like actually in the chat room. Sadly, I cannot. Blaze Blue isn't Bandai Namco, it's Arc Systems. Yeah, I know it's developed by Arc System, but isn't it published under Bandai Namco? Just like Soul Calibur is made by Project Soul, but it's produced by Bandai Namco. Are you still doing the OC artwork in your art style? I was a fan of that video. Yeah, Danny, that was for a contest that I actually did. Death, you're so quiet. Maybe it's just because I see a lack of green boys and I forget you're there. Danny, do you mean like when I did the problem with those videos is that it takes like a long time to make, and I do daily videos. So if I do another contest, then I definitely will make another video on the art thing. I'm just trying to come up with a couple contest ideas that aren't basic like we did the ones before. Matt says, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As much wood as that woodchuck would need to do. Also, if you guys want to get in on the play stream, you can also ask one of the members to donate their spot to you or have somebody sponsor you by throwing up a green boy in the chat for you, a super chat. When we say green boy, it's the super chat. This just helps the stream going. And by the way, guys that are on Discord, please check out the schedule change that I posted. We will now be, I believe it's, Deathsol says I'm driving. Well, why are you watching the stream if you're driving? I appreciate it, but I don't want you to die. What if Abyss came back in the next game? I've talked about this before in other videos, but if Abyss comes back, it's not going to be in a villain role. I don't think Zasalamel is going to be anything like an antagonist in the future. Oh, listening like a podcast? Cool. Then I will try not to have any blank spots or pauses. We are going to go on for a few more minutes, guys. Right now, what I want to do is, if anybody wants to get in on a play style, I need to know in the chat if you guys want to play. I believe we have members and mods in the chat that can help assist you if you need, like, don't ask Death Zol because he's driving, but I think Soul Blaze is in here, Atherin, Dragon Eel's in here, MKSM is in here, I believe. All right, guys, so we're going to end in 30 seconds. Thanks for watching and listening. As always, I love that you guys are in here supporting the streams, and we're going to have some gameplay after this. I will see you on my regularly scheduled video on Monday. The new schedule dictates now that we will be doing these live streams at 4 p.m. every Saturday, and I will be doing a gameplay with you guys session every second Saturday at 5:30. So we're going to keep this up. I will see those of you who are joining in a bit on PlayStation Network. And as always, Sound off in the comments. I love it. Thank you. Especially you, Sean Sharon. Come on. Thank you.